okay. I just wanted to make sure you were there.
All right, Lisa.
I'm here. Yes. Thank you.
All right, I'm calling this meeting to order. And so we have an invocation from Pastor Tyler Burns, Central Virginia Assembly of God.
There it is. Thank you guys for having me. Happy to be here. Let's pray. Lord, we are thankful today that we get to be gathered here to discern your will, to govern your people. Father, we just ask for wisdom today, that you would be here, your Holy Spirit would be here, and you would give us wisdom. In this name, in your name we pray. Amen.
And please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so Mr. Spoonhauer was unable to attend tonight. He will be at the later meeting, the 6 o'clock meeting. He had a work obligation that he could not get out of. And I believe that Charlie Vaughters is joining remotely. Charlie, are you there?
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And can you state for the audience why you were not able to attend?
Professional responsibilities.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vaughters. All right, I'll turn it over to Dr. Rayleigh. Yeah. So my comments. The board will hold a special meeting on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m. for a joint work session of the Board of Supervisors and Economic Development Authority in Conference Room 270. The meeting is open to the public. The Board of Supervisors is moving its March 10th, 2026 joint work session of the Board of Supervisors and School Board to Tuesday, March 17th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Conference Room 270, also open to the public. Now I'll turn it over to Dr. Rayleigh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Christie, and good afternoon and welcome everyone. We're certainly glad that you're joining us here in person and online as well. So just a couple things from the county administrator's desk. I want to start off by reminding our community that our county offices will be closed on Monday, February the 16th for George Washington Day. I also want to take a moment to share really a deep debt of gratitude and appreciation for the amazing work of my teammates who are in the audience here now and those who are maybe watching and will be watching in the future. You know, we've been hit with some challenging weather recently, and actually we're still digging out and still experiencing some of those challenges. And so, you know, there was a lot of work that our county government did to prepare for the event, through the event, and is still doing now as we come off of the heels of that. And so I am just tremendously proud of this team. As county administrator, I got to see our team in action in so many different ways, and every single one of our teammates shine brightly in every situation that I was a part of. There was no I or me. It was we, it was us, it was team, it was regardless of role, title, or responsibility, this team was just really exceptional in every sort of the way. And so there's just a few things that maybe you don't know about that our team was doing to make sure that our citizens had what they needed throughout the course of the event of the snow, including our public safety, our fire, rescue, and emergency services, sheriff's office, and animal protection, who really served bravely and admirably during our challenging conditions. You know, we mobilized our emergency operations center, and Robin Hillman stayed overnight, a couple of nights in the EOC. Thankfully, Sheriff Creasy brought her air mattress and made it a little more comfortable for her, I think, on the second or third night. But, you know, Robin was dedicated and committed to this thing throughout. We had Major Mike East, who was there as well. So we operated our EOC, and we had virtual opportunities for everybody to engage in that conversation as well. So our community was supported 24/7 through the EOC. We had dispatchers who, as you can imagine, were responding to many, many different calls for aid, firefighters and EMTs who responded and answered citizens in need, as well as engaging in support for two structure fires that took place in some really challenging conditions, as you can imagine. We had our deputies who are on their road and assisted motorists and residents in need of assistance, and our animal protection officers who the average citizen may not know what they do. They were ensuring that our livestock were taken care of, that domestic animals were taken care of. We had water available for folks that needed to break through the ice and provide water for their livestock. So really proud of those folks. And our public utilities team just crushed it too. We had a pretty significant water main break in Lower Tuckahoe on Saturday, and if you remember on Saturday, it was 14 degrees at the high. And so those men and women, our utilities team, were out there standing in mud and dirt and water and really challenging situations, and were able to respond and get the water turned back on within a few short hours before nightfall happened. And so just really proud of our public utility team. We had Chief that brought them lunch, and we had Robin that was working to support them. I mean, just tremendous teamwork from every time you turn around. And I shared with somebody coming in that our parking lots and our sidewalks were so clean we could have eaten off of them. I mean, Tom Cock and Joe Rosano and the team from Parks and Rec, as well as our ground staff, you know, as soon as that first snowflake hit, they were out there clearing. And so we were in a great place to be able to conduct business last week as an organization, and just really proud of our ground staff who were working in some really challenging situations. When people were trying to get ice up, we didn't have to worry about that because we stayed on top of it. And so just a tremendous effort from our team there. We had a warming center and a shelter that was ready to roll. DSS was staffed and prepared in case we needed it, so thankfully they were on call and were able to support. And then we have our communications and community affairs team that provided really great messaging to support what VDOT was doing, fire rescue, law enforcement, National Weather Service. Like, Paul and Jessica did an amazing job of keeping our community informed, so just really, really proud of them. And there are many other teammates who maybe I'm not referencing today, but Team Goochland shined. I'm really proud to serve alongside with our team as we supported our community. So just great work, and just a huge thanks and everything that they've done to provide service to our community. So my Did You Know for this month quantifies the excellent work of Team Goochland. So at the bottom of all of our team's email signatures, there's a statement that asks our community to tell us how we're doing, with a link that also sends you to a web page that allows our public to give us feedback. So since July 1st, we've received 69 responses. 62 of those 69 respondents gave us an overall rating to tell us about their experience. And so based on those responses, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being excellent, our average rating as a team is 4.6. So our team is really proud of the work that we can do to provide customer service, and we welcome your feedback. But based on the responses that we have, it's just an indication of the strength of our team. So please continue to give us feedback, because we want to continue to iterate and improve the work that we're doing in greater service to our community. So again, a huge thanks to Team Goochland. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Dr. Raley. So next, do we have a request to postpone agenda items, additional deletions, changes in order of presentation?
Mr. Chairman, I think this will happen under the consent agenda, but I am going to ask that item 11 on the consent agenda be pulled for discussion.
Understood. Any disagreement? Is that a motion? No. Okay.
Is
All
that
right.
a motion, sir?
No.
I'm just taking guidance.
We don't need a okay.
Right. All right. Next, we will go ahead and open citizen comment. Dr. Raley, you want to cover the guidelines?
Yes, sir. Happy to. So we welcome citizen comment. Our government is strong with the feedback that we receive and encourage engagement and participation. So as Mr. Christie opens up the public comment, we welcome folks to come forward one at a time to state their name and address and speak from the podium. Direct your comments to the board and directly to the chair. As you start your comments, you'll have 3 minutes to begin. The light will turn green, and as it proceeds, the light will turn to yellow, and then it'll start to blink, and when it hits red, that tells you that your 3 minutes is up. If you have someone that wants to cede their time to you, you certainly can do that, up to a maximum of 10 minutes. So we welcome your participation today.
All right, citizen comments now open.
My name is Steve Levitt. I live at 7036 Ben Hall Circle. On February 2nd, 2025, Then DPU Interim Director Wayne Stevens, along with Deputy County Manager Josh Gillespie, committed to putting together a survey of Parkside Village residents regarding the issues we're having with our water. That survey never occurred. 9 months later, on October 6th, my wife Margaret and I met with the new DPU Director Elizabeth McDonald to discuss our frustration regarding the unresolved water issues continuing to plague Parkside Village. Ms. McDonald agreed that a survey of residents would be a good place to start. In discussing the mechanics of such a survey, we suggested that the only way to reach every resident was by mail, to which she responded that it would be too expensive and there wasn't money available to mail 200 households. A few hours later, at the TOD community meeting at the high school, we spoke with Dr. Raley about the county's TOD messaging and noted that many people in the western districts knew nothing about it. We suggested that the county notify every resident by mail. Dr. Raley said that it would be too expensive, it wasn't in the budget. At the time, a stamp was 73 cents. Sending a water survey to Parkside Village would have cost about $146. Notifying everyone in the county about the TOD would have been a little under $22,000. Being good stewards of taxpayer dollars is admirable. Work within your means. But if you can't afford 200 stamps, how can you possibly afford $250,000 on a law firm to defend against alleged illegal actions in creating the technology overlay district? The county has an attorney. Her job is to defend the county. Committing $250,000 of taxpayer money to defend something so universally unpopular and doing it as a consent item with no discussion or taxpayer input is abhorrent. I urge you to move this consent agenda item to a more open forum to determine if citizens of Goochland want to spend their tax dollars in this manner. I suspect they don't. And for the record, it's been a year now, and absolutely nothing has been done regarding Parkside Village's water issues. Absolutely nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I will go ahead. Oh, go ahead, sir.
My name is Steve Dowdy. I live at 639 Monacan Drive, which is at Richmond Country Club, and my 2 acres back up on the TOD. Notice there's now some survey stakes out there, so something's going on, but we don't know what. No update from the county or anyone else about the status of the TOD, which is right in my backyard. What I'd like to address tonight is number 11, consent agenda, which was just mentioned by the previous speaker, where the county proposes taking $250,000, $250,000, and using it on legal funds for the lawsuit concerning the TOD. I went out to the website for the county and looked at what it had to say about the county attorney. I'd like to read some of that for you in case you haven't read it lately. The county attorney is the general counsel for county government. The main duty of the office is to provide legal counsel and advice in all civil matters to the Board of Supervisors, the county administrator, and various other boards. On a day-to-day basis, the county attorney's duties include, number 1, providing legal advice to the Board of Supervisors, county administrators, and other county employees, and number 2, defending lawsuits against the county or its employees. I don't understand why we would take $250,000 unmarked dollars and use them in defense of the lawsuit when we have 2 attorneys plus a legal staff already employed by the county, Mrs. McGee and Mrs. Spalding. They are already employees. I don't understand why they would not be used to defend the lawsuits and that $250,000 could be used for something to make life in Goochland County better. So I ask you to consider that before you approve number 11, the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close citizen comment. All right, so now, I'll ask for a motion to approve the action minutes.
They'll come at your next meeting.
Okay. All right, so now let's go move into reports.
Thank you, Mr. Christie and board members. So we typically get started off with every meeting with an introduction of our new staff. So we're going to have Cliff Heller, our Director of Human Resources, come forward and let us know who is new to our team.
There we go. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for having us again on this fine, lovely day. We're going to start out with our first new employee from General Services. I think Joe is here. No, sorry, that's right. Come on up, John, sorry. So John Mizuki has started with us as a custodian. John is from Columbia, Virginia, and uses his talents to work on and around his home. He enjoys being physically active, and he started with the county on January 2nd. So, John, welcome, welcome. Our next new employee is Joe Girardi. Joe is with the groundskeeping team. Was he able to come? Okay. They are in the middle of still working on snow, so this is not surprising. But Joe started with us also on January 2nd, and I really hope that you all get to meet him. He's very interested in military history and collects militaria. He loves hiking, swimming, and being in nature walks and on runs. So we'll move on to our third new employee, that is Catherine Swinney. Is Catherine able to make it? Oh, there she is in the back. Come on down, Catherine. Fire Rescue is happy to announce the return of Catherine Swinney as Fire EMT BLS. She had left the county for a short period of time, but is now back with Fire Rescue. She has been a firefighter since 2009. She is a Hokie and has ridden those horses most of her life. She started with the county also on January 2nd. Welcome back, Catherine. And finally, not a new employee, but we would be remiss if we didn't mention that we now have a new building official for the county. Casey Littlefield has joined us has been promoted to the building official, so we'd like to recognize him and say a couple nice things about Casey as well. So. Casey joined Goochland County in 2018. He started as a senior combination commercial inspector. He was the lead inspector on several larger commercial projects, such as our Residence Inn Hotel, Sheltering Arms, Avery Point Continuing Care, and several Capital One building renovations, as well as things that have gone on at Benedictine. So he was our first deputy building official in 2020, overseeing our day-to-day operations and logistics for Goochland County's Department of Building Inspection. Prior to Simon Goochland, Casey worked for Louisa and Hanover counties and the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. I want to make sure I got that out there. He holds a master electrician certification with Commonwealth and has spent 10 years as an electrical contractor prior to come on as an inspector. He has also attained his Master Code professional designation in 2009 and represents Goochland very well on the international on the electrical industry on National Electric Code Making Panel, and he will be becoming the chairman of that body in the upcoming 2029 National Electric Code. So, Casey, welcome. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so next, board members, we're going to continue our process of having our teammates provide some insight and updates regarding the great work that they're doing in support of our community. So next is our Director of Strategic Communications, Jessica Kronberg.
Hello, Chair, members of the board. As Dr. Riley mentioned, I'm Jessica Kronberg, the Director of Strategic Communications for Goochland County, and today I'm going to go over with you some of our communication efforts for the first half of the fiscal year. So when I talk about communication efforts, the highlights I'm going to hit today would be our social media, website, press releases, media relations, our emergency communications efforts, as well as some other things that you may or may not associate with communications. So for our social media, this is for July 1st through December 31st. We had over 1,000 posts go out on our main platforms. This is for the Goochland County pages specifically. So I'm not talking animal control, I'm not talking Parks and Rec. This is the main county page for Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. Now, if you see, we had 1.4 million views. That's how many times our posts were seen, not necessarily individual people. So if one person saw it 5 times, it's 5. What number I like to focus on this slide is the 1,038. Those are the new followers we have on our different pages. Those are the people that are going to continue to see our new messaging with each new post. Our top performing posts would be, the first one's actually our December New Year New Adventure for Now Hiring. Over 40,000 views. Our Ag Fair, save the date, with 36,000 views, and Station 8 Site Preparedness post with 28,000 views. Our website we tried to promote as the source of all of the correct, most up-to-date information with whatever is going on in the county. You'll notice when we do a social media post or we put anything anywhere, whether it be a press release, we always point everyone back to the website. So for the time frame, July 1st through December 31st, we had 1.8 million hits to the website. Our top performing pages would be the news flash. Those are the press releases, the stories that we put out. The calendar, and our FAQs. So people want to know what's going on, when it's happening, and they want to make sure they have their facts right, which is great. Followed by GIS staff directory. And typically I'm a top 5 person, but animal care and protection was so close I had to include them in there as the tops, rounding out the top 6. For our top search terms, this is going to be July 1st through October 14th. Some of you may remember a few years ago we did a strategic communication survey through the community. Some of that feedback was not only the website was hard to navigate, but it was hard to find what you're looking for. We completed the website redesign at the end of 2024, and then we began working on enhancing our search feature. The items you see listed here were on our old search platform. So the top 5 search terms from July 1st to October 14th, InterGov, pet adoption, TOD, dogs, GIS. People love their dogs. And you'll see that again. Our new search feature went online October 15th. It allows us to have a lot more control, help people find the information that they're looking for without having to dig. I get a report every Monday of what people are searching for and whether or not they were able to find the results, so we can go in and make changes as needed. October 15th to December 31st, we had over 8,000 searches. Top 5 search terms again, TOD, GIS, dogs, Board of Supervisors, and animal shelter. People love their dogs. To be fair, the animal shelter had a Great Dane during this time. That was one of our most popular searches that week for, I believe his name was Merlin. Another item we use our website for is our weekly e-newsletter. This currently goes out to 194 subscribers with a 76% open rate. This goes out every Friday. So it highlights what has either happened that week or what is going to happen the upcoming week. It's a great recap for people who, if they're not big social media people, if they want the stuff to come directly to their inbox. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned we also have a county mobile app. If you want to download that, it's from Apple and the Google Play Store. Through the mobile app, you can sign up to get push notifications, texts, emails for any of the items we went over as far as newsflash, calendar. You can get those alerts sent straight to you. You can also sign up to receive those notifications through the website. Right now, we have 5,220 subscribers across our different categories. Getting on to media coverage, from July 1st to December 31st, we were covered 221 times by 58 different outlets. If you see in our lovely little word cloud there what our top item was as far as news coverage, which was Eli Lilly. During this same time, we issued 23 press releases as a county. And you can see in the graph here, our coverage peaked during September and November. Media coverage by outlet, this shows you who is putting out stories related to Goochland County. If they published 2 or more stories, they are listed. If they only published 1, they are in the other category. For emergency communications, this is very timely. This is a project we've been working on for a while now, starting back the end of last year. Robin Hillman, Paul Drumwright, and myself started working on a crisis communications plan, messaging templates, pre-approved, pre-designed, ready to go for over 20 different scenarios. This came in handy this past weekend with the water main break Dr. Rayleigh mentioned. We were able to send out messages through this new platform. It went live mid-January, and we were able to use it during the winter event when we were closed for internal employee messaging. Believe most of you have employee cell phones, so you actually were included, or county cell phones, you were included in our test messages as well. So we are live with that. Some other items that you may or may not tie directly into communications. Items that I've worked on would be making sure that we have high quality photography that represents the county well. That includes headshots, event photography, again, working with the media outlets for interviews, print materials such as the tax mailer that you see up there that went out last fall, our seasonal community guides. I also do a digital monthly employee bulletin that goes out to staff to make sure everybody is up to date and current. And the TVs that you see outside of the boardroom here, designing those graphics and getting them up there, keeping them up to date. And shameless plug for people to scan that QR code, sign up for alerts to stay connected and stay informed with what's going on. But with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah. Board members, if I may, like many of our teammates, Jessica's very humble, and so she's not going to pat herself on the back for the great work that she does to support our team, but really worked hard to make sure that our Goochland alert system was up and running by the time we were going to face the weather event. And so when we had the water main break on Saturday, Jessica and I were in direct communication with Robin and the utilities team. We were able to build a geofence around the neighborhoods that were impacted by the water main break and create a mass message to those folks. And then once we were able to identify the 8 homes that were impacted, we were able to send specific messages directly to those homeowners without, again, casting a larger communication. So the Goochland alert system that's built by our team has just been really tremendous in a short amount of time. And just grateful we have that in our back pocket for, heaven forbid, an emergency situation arises in our community. So great work, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you for all you do, Jessica.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Jessica, government loves acronyms and words unique to government. Can you explain what InterGov is just a little bit? I'm not sure that everybody, maybe myself included, understands the depth and breadth of InterGov.
So InterGov, which I believe now is called EP&L, is, I know more acronyms for you. So that is the permitting software for community development, building inspections.
And tell me again what the new name is?
EP&L.
EP&L. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Thanks. So board members, you got a preview of this next presentation at our work session on the 20th of January. We talked a little bit about the assessments and the bills that or the assessments that were received by our residents during the month of January, and the hard work that Mary Ann Davis and her team does throughout the course of the year to prepare for that process. So Mary Ann is here to provide a lot more depth and detailed information regarding the assessment process, the results of the current assessments, and what that means for our future. So, Mary Ann, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman, board members, Dr. Rayleigh, County Attorney's Office. I'm Mary Ann Davis, the County Assessor, and I'm presenting the Real Estate Assessment Report to the Board of Supervisors. That's you. Okay. Some assessment highlights. Assessments are made at the market value as of January 1 of each year. Assessment notices were mailed out the 15th of this month, and property owners have until the 17th to appeal their assessments or discuss their assessments should they call in. As part of the process, the reassessment process, sales are reviewed for accuracy and research and field inspections, then sampled for statistical testings. And the two main statistical testing qualifiers are the assessment sales ratios, which helps to guide the performance, and then you have the coefficient of dispersion, which measures the uniformity of our data. Listed in the box are the International Association of Assessing Officers technical standards, and these guidelines are both national and international industry standards. So the assessment level, or the ASR level, for the median is between 90% and 110. And then you have the coefficient of dispersion, which is 15% or below, and sometimes it can be as high as 20% on specialty class properties. But also at the bottom it tells you where the Code of Virginia says that they need to have these ratios no lower than 70% and no higher than 130. So in these charts, the assessment sales ratio, or in other words for ASR, we broke them down between residential and commercial, and where we stand so far this year, the residential is 0.977, and then the commercial is 1.01, and it's well within the acceptable range of the 0.9 to 110. The coefficient of dispersion, which is the uniformity, that is 5.33 for the residential, and coefficient of dispersion is 9.95, which the acceptable COD is less than 15. So we are doing well with that. So talking a little bit about the assessment seal process. When a property owner calls in to do an informal appeal, they contact our office between the dates of January 15th to February 17th. We review the characteristics with them. We conduct an interior inspection. We review sales and equalizations, and then we notify a taxpayer of the outcome of the results, but using the results letter. And so if they want to appeal to a formal appeal, if they're not satisfied with, they have within 30 days from the date of their results letter to make application to the Board of Equalization. And then these forms are also available from our office. And should they not be satisfied with that, then they can apply to the circuit court. And this little picture here is, you know, really, I had a fellow assessor used to say, our job is to value the forest, not the tree. So we are a mass appraisal. We appraise on a mass basis and not a fee basis like what you would see for a bank or refinancing and that sort of thing. So the summary of the 2026 values, and these will show up in the charts following, that will make a little more sense, but we have to go through this. The total taxable value, not including land use and not including new construction, is about a 5% increase. Of the $10.3 billion of the total taxable value, $294 million is new construction, which is 3% of the overall increase of 8%. New construction, this new construction that we picked up, that $294 million, 23% of that is commercial, 77% of that is residential. The TCSD market values are about 2.8 billion, and the land use assessments are at 832 million. So this is the chart showing the 10.3 billion this year, and this gives you a historical look at how things have changed over the last 10 years. Our reassessment values based on new construction that we've picked up. The TCSD is in red. They're showing the 1.8 or 181 million, and then the county part is 113 million, which is the yellow. Now this is based on 1 year. We've talked about the residential commercial ratio percentages. And so as of this year, our residential is at 81.98%, and the commercial is 18.02%. Last year, our commercial was at 17.8%, and our residential was at 82.2%. And these percentages are based on the fair market value countywide. Now, this next graph includes this. You were looking historically. So now you can see the same information for 10 years back, how it has gone up and down a little bit, but still staying in between the 18% commercial. So new construction that we've picked up. This here, I was talking to you earlier about the 77%. That's residential, which is the red. The yellow is the commercial, which is at 22.95%. That's the $294 million that we picked up. That's the increases, or that's what we picked up over this past year. The Tuckahoe Creek Service District, the assessment that we had this year is 3.2 billion, which is a growth of about 13.95%. Now, this includes the new construction of about 5.57% and the reassessment of 8.38%. Land use, this is showing the deferred value in millions. And so what we're looking at as of January 2026 amount of 892 million equates to about $4.7 million in deferred revenue, or tax amount, taxes not, property not being taxed, value not being taxed, dollars not collected. All right, so the summary. January 2026 reassessment total value change of 8% is higher than the November 2025 revenue forecast assumed of 5%, and that growth comes from new construction. And then this increase is due in part to increasing construction costs and lack of improved properties for sale. In 2027, revenue projection assumes an additional increase of 4 to 5% increase, which does not include new construction. Any questions?
Board members, any questions, comments? Go ahead.
Ms. Davis, thank you very much. I still refer back to your candy scatter demonstration that you did a couple years ago to show me, I think it was the coefficient of dispersion. Mm-hmm. If I'm understanding that correctly, what that is saying is that we are falling within a very narrow range of variance between what property is assessed at and what property is being sold for. Is that?
And it's calculated around the median. So the median assessment sales ratio that we have and the coefficient of dispersion, the greater the number, the greater the dispersion, the tighter the number, the tighter to the median, which is calculated from the assessment sales ratio. And that's where you want to be, because that shows you have a good uniformity.
Thank you. Okay. I also appreciate the forest, not the trees. Actually, just this afternoon, I had a discussion with a friend, a colleague, who said, oh, I can never sell my house or my property for what it's assessed at. What I'm hearing is 97% of the time that's not the case, or that the property is selling for what it's assessed for. There's maybe a 3% variance? Do I
Well,
have that?
this is what the assessment is of January 1. This will be what we'll hold forth. This is based on historical data of what we've collected over this past year. And so ideally, it would be good to have it at 100%, but that's how showing you the market's still moving. So, from the last point for which we reassess, it's still moving.
I understand, but what I guess is that 97 out of 100 times, the property's selling for its assessment.
Within that range,
Yes,
yeah.
okay. And then you did mention the growth of property value in the Tuckahoe Creek Service District. That still carries a 45-55 split on what we do with the revenues. Is that correct?
Well, I know that there are, I think, like commercial properties that are part of revenue sharing, whereas some may not. That would be a
All
talk.
right,
That's out of my, I just maintain the
You answered my
list.
question. You can stop dancing. Thank you. No, that was where I'm, I guess, going to is even as we see an increase in the Tuckahoe Creek Service District, all of that new revenue is not for county operations, but is being used to service the debt, the bonds
Yes.
that are in the district.
Yes.
So, thank you. I may come back down for a repeat lesson with
Okay.
the candy scatter, but
Okay.
I so much appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for being available.
So board members, Mary Ann and her team, again, are humble, and most folks don't even know where they are in this building, but they're in the downstairs floor of this building, and I didn't get a 97.7% on many of my tests, but I'll take that. So it's pretty darn accurate. Thank you, Mary Ann.
You all doing a great job, except mine's too high. No, I'm just kidding. On the land use chart, a little further clarification. I know values are going up. So that would account for the increase, the 800 and some million that's in there. But are the land use instances going down? Is that countered by, in other words, is the assessment value overcoming, are we growing in that area, or in actual real numbers of acreage going into it?
Oh, it gives there's give and take, because there are some that comes out and there's some that comes in. So it's pretty much a wash as far as number of acreage, because I monitor that every year. And we still, as far as number of parcels, we probably have just maybe a couple more parcels this year than we did last year.
So it's growing in value as well as number of parcels and acreage.
Well, whenever market value increases, the more deferment, the more agricultural credit it is.
Yeah.
So the less that the county will getting taxes
Would be-
on that
okay.
property. But yeah, the actual rates that's used for land use is set by the State Land Evaluation Advisory Council, which is done for each locality in the state, and they use the National Agricultural Statistics Survey. That information goes to Virginia Tech for their statisticians to calculate through forward for each county. They also gather information from the your not timber companies, but your lumber yards, to gather that information of how much has been done for each locality. And so it's a number of calculations that they do, and to bring us up to speed. And we use those numbers for that. And each year it changes. And it's all based on Olympic average over time, because you may have one year that's not a good year, but it will stay in that Olympic average of 5 years for 5 years until it moves out. And then you will have maybe a year where the actual land use rate is a little higher. And we had that here the other year where it bumped up. But usually it's a fluctuation of up and down.
Thank you.
Mr. Vaughters, do you have any comments, questions?
No, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could, just to amplify on the land use, I was looking at some of my old numbers, and I saw 47% of the land mass in Goochland is participating in
Yeah, at least.
okay. This was a year and a half ago, I guess, the number
Okay.
I was looking at. And then the number tends to sit that the tax value of land use, it comes in right around $500, $550.
It varies from year to year based on the information that the statisticians give us from tech.
Can you share what this year's is?
I don't have that. Oh, for 2026? Oh,
Well, how about 2025?
no, I don't.
Oh, okay. All right.
We can get that and get back to you.
Yeah.
It fairly consistently was coming in the $500 range.
That would be
December.
for your farmland, but your
Yes.
agriculture now is around 1,100.
All right,
Horticulture maybe is around 1,050.
gotcha. I was thinking farming. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Davis.
So, board members, I talked about the work of Team Goochland, and so our team certainly extends beyond the folks who wear a Goochland County badge. We have many, many partners, including VDOT, who helped us through the storm. And so I'm going to ask Philip Frazier to come forward and give us some updates regarding the work of the team.
Good evening, members of the board, county staff. Philip Frazier with VDOT. I believe when I was here a month ago, I told you that I was going to come back and plan to provide a presentation on VDOT's upcoming resurfacing schedule. I thought it may be a bit tone deaf with the weather that we've had over the last week and a half to come and share that. So I'm going to focus my conversation this afternoon on snow and ice removal, because really there's not a whole lot of snow left. It's mostly ice. So bear with me as I read through my notes. On the weekend of January 24th and 25th, the central part of Virginia received about 3 inches of snow. It doesn't sound too menacing. But then that was followed by about 8 hours of consistent sleet. That doesn't really show up in accumulation as much as maybe snow does. But what it does is it packs it down and it turns it to ice. So my team has been on about a 13-day venture to treat, pre-treat, putting down brine in preparation for the storm, and then do snow removal operations in the midst of the storm, and then perform cleanup for about over a week. So we were able to establish minor conditions on the interstate system and the primary system by about noon on that following Monday, so that's the 26th. And then we were able to shift the primary route, so Route 6, Broad Street, 522, to a clear condition by that following Tuesday. That being said, the secondaries remain in a moderate condition, and for an extended period of time, and in many of our subdivisions, we're still seeing that as a moderate. This is due to the historically prolonged cold temperatures. I went ahead and pulled some temperature averages for the last 8 days, and I think this is almost being generous. But we have had an average high of 31 degrees. We've had an average low in the evenings or at nighttime of about 15 degrees. So today has been a very happy day for the VDOT folks with a high in the upper 40s. Tonight we're expecting lows in the upper 30s. Or I'm sorry, lower 30s. So what do these temperatures do? So throughout the day, the sun pops out and it starts to create a melt. We get a melt that allows us about 6 to 8 hours of maybe productive, good snow removal operations. But then when the sun drops, the sun disappears and the temperatures drop, everything freezes back up and it gets tighter and tighter. And so every morning we get up, we bring our staff back in, and we basically start from scratch, where we're peeling and scraping frozen ice to the roads. So this has not allowed us to be incredibly productive. So what we did is we kind of reallocated some resources. We remained in a 24-hour posture throughout the storm up until over the weekend, but we stopped pushing as much in the evenings at nighttime. What we really focused our efforts on were applying abrasives to the secondary system. So many of our secondary roads and our subdivision roads will look brown or orange, and that is from that 10 parts sand and 1 part salt abrasive mixture. That helps apply or provide traction for folks and motorists who are trying to get out of the neighborhoods. It also can help break up some of that loose or tight ice and allow us to be a little bit more productive, but because it is a lower salt concentration, it's not going to be as effective as direct salt. And frankly, we do not really, our common practice is not to put raw salt into subdivisions. So we really shifted most of our resources to the daytime, and we would keep about 3 to 5 people per area running at nighttime, applying those abrasives, looking for slick spots, and preparing the morning for the morning rush hour. So where are we now? Well, the traditional secondary roads are looking a lot better, and we hope to have those in a clear condition in the next 24 to 48 hours. That's the traditional secondary roads. However, the subdivision roads can still expect to see snowpack, maybe beyond that. That is just want to be completely transparent that we are going to continue to fight it and push it as long as it's slush through the week and even the weekend if we have to. But the reality is we could still see some snowpack on some of these subdivision roads. This is pretty consistent with our standard operating procedure that I shared with you, I believe, back in December, with how we prioritize routes when we experience a storm like this. So resources, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. VDOT forces and hired equipment. Resources, we're working side by side throughout the event and continued today through the cleanup efforts. Due to the ice pack, we've had to really rely on heavy construction equipment, such as motor graders, tractors, and loaders. And at this point, we continue to focus most of our efforts on the subdivisions. We're restocking and retooling because, frankly, there's potentially more winter weather on its way. So we're looking to we've already put in all of our orders to get additional sand and additional salt. Tonight, we will plan to have crews in because we do expect some rain to come through. My hope is that the rain is helpful to us to kind of break up some of that ice that continues to plague the subdivisions and turn it to slush so that we continue to push it. But if not, if it freezes up due to temperatures, our folks will be here to apply those abrasives again for those slick spots. I want to continue to urge folks to exercise caution because even though the temperatures warm up during the day, you can expect things to freeze again overnight. And so that's where you get this black ice. It can be very, very dangerous when you see the amount of snow on the shoulders, on the backside of curbs. That will melt in time and run across the road and can potentially freeze. So I got a couple things I want to say thank you. I want to extend my appreciation to Goochland County because throughout this, you guys have been a great partner. Appreciate county staff for fielding calls and really helping spread VDOT's message while also passing folks on to us to deal with any kind of concerns and complaints that might come through. Really appreciate that patience and that partnership. I also want to say thank you to my team back here. This is the leadership team for my Goochland maintenance program. Mark Harlow, Joe Terry, and Bobby Knighton. These guys, they're the sung heroes for today. The unsung heroes are the operators, the contractors, all of the folks that have really partnered with us and supported the residency in the snow removal operation. So with that, we'd be happy to take any questions, concerns, but just appreciate everybody's patience as we continue to work around the clock. So thank you.
I just want to say good job because I was on the roads Tuesday morning and I have never seen Haydensville, Fife look as nice as it did. It wasn't perfect, but it was the nicest I've ever seen it after a snowstorm. So I think you guys are doing a pretty awesome job.
Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Any other board members?
Philip, you and your colleague, and I won't even presume to misidentify her, but we're so responsive to some of the HOA correspondence I received and to making phone calls and having one-on-one conversations with residents. I believe I am consistent in saying that as I travel throughout the region and across the country, I'm a fan of VDOT. I mean, y'all aren't perfect, none of us are, but by golly, go down to South Carolina and North Carolina and come back and appreciate the road system that we've got here. So your team, those not here, we're making phone calls to actual residents and explaining process. And so that speaks volumes. I appreciate it. You're still in your rookie year, so you're not quite Hall of Fame, but next year you probably will be. I mean, so keep it up. I really do appreciate it. And the feedback I've gotten from residents is when I start getting text messages that says VDOT is in the hood, that is great, and thank you to all of y'all.
I appreciate that, Mr. Lyle.
Philip and your team, I tell you what amazed me was your preemptive strike of putting Brian down ahead of time. Everywhere I went, you had it down. I mean, the coverage was amazing for me to see. So kudos, good job all the way around.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
A lot of times we may take you for granted, and but we do appreciate it, and it keeps us mobile. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Mr. Vaughters, do you have any comments?
I just echo the compliments to Mr. Frazier and your team, and definitely appreciate that, the citizens saw VDOT's response so consistently and efficiently.
Appreciate that, Mr. Vaughters.
So, Mr. Frazier, next month we'll get the resurfacing report.
Yeah, as long as there's not another, major snow event, yes, that is my plan, is to share the resurfacing schedule and how we program that. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Nothing else?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Frazier.
I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Next on the agenda, board members, we have Chief Ferguson. As our guests came in today, you may have seen a setup from our partners with the Richmond Metro Flying Squad. And so Chief is going to provide a few remarks and then introduce our guests for today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Paskewicz. Dr. Rayleigh, members of the board, thank you. The report was provided in your packet for the Fire Rescue Department. Dr. Rayleigh did a great job filling in the void area between when I submitted the report and what's going on today. And certainly that area is a lot larger than I thought it would be when I submitted that report. But definitely would like to echo the things that he said about all the county departments working together, the EOC, and what everyone did to get through the winter weather, which is still going on to a great extent for us with responses in the driveways and so forth. Without further ado, I'd like to yield my time to a very good friend of mine, a professional colleague, and a personal friend, Chief Rick Talley. Chief Rick Talley is the fire chief with the Metro Richmond Flying Squad. Over the years, I've had the honor and the pleasure and privilege to work with Chief Talley with Chesterfield Fire and EMS. Chief Talley retired from Chesterfield Fire and EMS as a battalion chief and was also a very avid volunteer firefighter and volunteer district chief in Hanover County. So he understands both sides of the equation and what it takes for rural communities to be able to provide fire and emergency medical services. The service they provide to us is absolutely invaluable. It allows us to focus on getting into an emergency, mitigating that emergency, and about the time that we're beginning to think about how we're going to refresh our personnel, the Metro Richmond Flying Squad is on the scene and setting up a rehab area that just keeps our people safe and healthy. So, Chief Talley, thank you very much. Look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Chief. Board, County Administrator, thank y'all for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak with you all today. And hopefully I can figure this out. Perfect. Who we are, we're an all-volunteer responder rehab department. We have 38 response volunteers. We're 100% donation funded, 501c3. Our members are retired and active duty responders, both law enforcement and fire. We have business owners, retirees, housewives, regular citizens. But the key is they all have a servant's heart, and they want to do more to help the community. We serve 8 municipalities covering 2,013 square miles from 6 response stations. We service the city of Richmond, Henrico, Goochland, Hanover, New Kent, Hopewell, Powhatan, and Chesterfield, and we have response stations in everywhere except Hopewell and Powhatan. So our statistics. In 2025, we ran 437 calls for service, and 11 of those were in Goochland County. So what is responder rehab and recovery? So rehab is an intervention designed to fix the things that are messing with their physical, their physiological, and their emotional stress or emergency response to sustain a member's energy, their improved performance, and decrease the likelihood of an on-scene injury or death. As they get fatigued, things happen. They're not thinking as clearly. They start getting dehydrated. They're not functioning as well. So we kind of are that intervention. We step in and what we do, the processes and so forth that we do address that. The recovery phase is returning that member's physiological and psychological states to levels that they can perform additional emergency tasks, be reassigned, or released from the incident without any adverse effects. So that's our 3 caveats we're shooting for, is getting them better so they can go back in the fight, they can be reassigned, or they can be cleared from the scene to go off somewhere else to do their emergency work. So the components of responder rehab, prior to this year, the NFPA standard that we worked under was 1584, and that has been changed to 1580, where they consolidated several of their NFPA standards of dealing with firefighter wellness and health under one standard. So we give them relief from climactic conditions or incident conditions. It may not be too hot or too cold, but it could be a plane wreck that's got 100 dead bodies and a lot of carnage. So when we set our stuff up, we set up to address that, so they're not having to stare into that. Carcinogen removal or reduction prior to ingesting their rehab supplies. Rest and recovery, replacement of calories and electrolytes, rehydration, active and or passive cooling and warming for instant types in climactic conditions, and then medical assessment and monitoring. These are all the components listed out in that standard as to what a formal rehab should look like and what it should have. So what are the benefits of rehab? If I wander too far, I'm sorry. When I speak, I kind of move around. So it's prevention of physical illness and injuries. We provide crucial rehydration, essential nutrition, protection from extreme weather elements. We prevent heat stress, prevent cardiac events, prevent fatigue-related accidents, and the big takeaway is that we reduce your workman's comp claims and liability. By fixing all of these things that keep them from getting injured or have those medical emergencies, it helps your bottom line when it comes to your work comp. So firefighter killers, the 2 big killers of firefighters, it used to just be cardiac events was number 1. Now cancer and cardiac events run neck and neck of what's killing most firefighters every year. So we came up with a plan on how we do our business to address those. We address other pieces, but we try to look for the things that are going to make the biggest difference. So whenever we get on a call, the first things that my folks pull are going to be hydration supplies and carcinogen reduction materials. That way it keeps them from ingesting things that they shouldn't. It gets it off their skin, and it resets their cardiac clock. So why this model? Dehydration causes a reduction in body fluid volume. With that reduction, it makes the heart vessel walls thicken. It makes the blood pressure go up, the pulse go up, because it's trying to counteract that depletion. So once we start rehydrating them within 3 to 5 minutes of starting that and those fluids start entering the body, the heart rate comes down, blood pressure comes down, and we just reset the cardiac event clock. And then ingesting carcinogens is a direct route into your bloodstream in your body without any barriers. And then the carcinogen absorption through the skin, there's a barrier, but it still happens. So that's why we make them clean up before they start drinking or eating anything, because we don't want them ingesting it. When is it needed? When is rehab needed or required? And this is directly from the standard. Anytime firefighters are working strenuously without SCBA for 40 minutes or longer, after the completion of one SCBA cylinder while working, when operating in extreme weather conditions, and during any physically or emotionally stressful incident. That is when it is needed and should be required. The other services that we provide, when we're operating on emergency scenes with the fire department, police department, sheriff's departments, if they have affected citizens that some other definitive agency is not there to address and take care of, a lot of times they come to us. So we developed an occupant services protocol for when citizens are passed off to us to take care of them while they're waiting for the Red Cross or whatever group is coming to help them. And then we have an animal rehab protocol that we established for responder animals and civilian animals. We were the only rehab department in North America that had an animal rehab protocol. If you look at the pictures up there, the lower left with the responder and the animal there, that was a dog that was rescued from a fire in Henrico County. There was 2 dogs pulled out, 1 died. That one was very lethargic when we got there. They had no one to take care of the dog. I put 2 of my folks on it. As you can see, he's very lethargic. By the time my folks put that protocol in place for 2 hours with that animal, it was running around the yard playing with its owner. So it works. So we care for the bottom line is we not only take care of our responders, we take care of citizens that need it as well as the animals. Why we do what we do, we are the responders, and we take care of their needs because they have to leave that scene, go to the next scene, to the next scene. So we have to have someone out there taking care of them. And they're worth the effort. Provides a sense of meaning for my members. It allows our organization to assist our partner agencies with protecting their members, and it allows us to give back to the responders in our communities. Closing, thank you for supporting our organization. Chief Ferguson and the Fire Rescue Department in Goochland County are great response partners. We have a very good relationship. As any organization, we always need money, people, and stuff to fulfill our mission. We're actively seeking response members, sponsors, and donors to assist us with service delivery and mission fulfillment support. And lastly, it's an honor and a privilege to serve as responders and the citizens of Goochland County. Any questions?
No questions, but thank you for what you do. I know how important it is to maintain that clarity, in a stressful situation. I don't have a team like you guys at my job, but I do have an office. I can walk away, take a break, recollect myself, and then go attack whatever crazy problems we run into. So I totally thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else?
No, just thank you very much for what you do. It's very much needed, and the results are very positive.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that we do support you, and this is, I hope, not an unfair question. Are there specifics that we could be doing that would increase our support for you all?
Anytime there's an ask, y'all have graciously fulfilled, and we don't get silly with our asks. Chief Ferguson does an excellent job for you all, and anytime I've had a critical need, or the board itself when I've had a critical need, y'all have fulfilled that. So please continue that support, and please know that if I have one of those needs, I'll definitely give y'all a call. Thank you.
Mr. Vaughters?
No questions. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having us.
Thank you, Chief Allen.
Board member, the rest of the reports, numbers 6 through 8 are, 6 and 7 are in your packet. You will have an agricultural report next month. Staff is here to answer any questions that you may have about accounts payable or planning and development activity. So with no questions, certainly it's a chance for the board to share anything with the rest of the board and the public as well. So board members, next on our agenda is the consent agenda, and so there are many, many items on the consent agenda for your consideration today, and so for the benefit of the public, I'll certainly provide a little bit of more color commentary. So the first one is a resolution declaring the local emergency. Really, it's a ratification of my declaration on January 23rd at 10 o'clock a.m. Ultimately, we need board approval of that and ratifying that decision, and then asking for your termination of that emergency declaration today. Certainly, you've been able to hear a lot about the work of our team, but the opportunity to have a declaration provides potential for some financial assistance potentially down the road for us a little bit. Number two is a resolution, as Mr. Christie said in his introductory comments, changing the board's work session with the Goochland County School Board from March 10th to March 17th. Ultimately, we need board action in order to make that happen, so seeking your approval of that today. Number three is a resolution amending the current fiscal year budget by accepting and appropriating $176,475 from J. Sargent Reynolds for dual enrollment tuition and school division's technology surplus sales. So ultimately, your approval gives them the authority to utilize those dollars. There are no additional county funds requested for that appropriation. Number four, again, is an amendment to the current fiscal year budget, appropriating $63,218 in social services for supporting community services block grant and temporary assistance for needy. These are federal funds and no local dollars are needed, but ultimately DSS needs your authority to spend those dollars to meet the needs of our community. The next is again a resolution amending the current fiscal year budget, appropriating $20,946.50 to the general fund for the use of Library of Virginia records preservation. This is for use in the circuit court clerk's office. Again, no additional funds are requested in order to make that appropriation happen. The next is requesting that the Virginia Department of Transportation accept the Riva Ridge subdivision streets into their secondary system of state highways for maintenance. This is something that periodically shows up on your agenda, and seeking your approval of that today. Next on the consent agenda is a resolution amending again the current fiscal year budget by transferring and appropriating $177,270 from the general fund unassigned fund balance to the economic development operating budget, and that is for project management services for Eli Lilly. This is part of the commitment that we have made to them to support that project, and asking for your approval for those funds to support our collaboration with them. Number 8, again, is a budget amendment for the current fiscal year, transferring and appropriating $200,000 from the Central Virginia Transportation Authority Fund to the Capital Improvement Fund, and this is for Rockville Road realignment and the work to do that analysis to prepare for a future smart scale application. This is something that we discussed at the December 19th work session, and so now we're seeking your approval so that we can move that work forward. Number 9, again, is a resolution to amend the current fiscal year budget by transferring and appropriating $54,000, again, from that same CVTA fund to the Capital Improvement Fund, and this is for a crosswalk across 522 so that our residents can access both sides of the road safely with the crosswalk. The cost of that project is $45,000, and the differential between that is contingency built in for that project. Number 10, board members, is a minor adjustment, and so it is again a resolution amending the current fiscal year budget by transferring funds from the capital improvement projects, that CIP line item, for the purposes of a service as a software migration service, and this is for instructional technology. And board members, you approved this in your capital improvement budget in April when you approved the current fiscal year budget. But ultimately, in order to use those dollars, we need those dollars in operations. So since this agenda was published, the staff have worked together with the schools and sharpened our pencil, and so rather than requesting $281,000 from the board today, it's $255,000. And so if you choose to support this, then you would need to have your motion amending the consent agenda, or approving the consent agenda as amended, because there is a differential between what is published in the packet and staff's recommendation for a lower cost at $255,000. The next item, of course, Mr. Lau had requested that we pull that out so we can discuss that after we get through the consent agenda. Number 12 is a resolution formalizing the county attorney's authority to execute documents related to legal matters upon the approval of the board chair or the board chair's designee. And number 13 is your approval of a memorandum of agreement that we have with CVWMA, who is our third-party provider for recycling services, landfill, trash services in Goochland County. This is an ongoing renewal and seeking your approval of that one as well. So board members, a lot on your consent agenda for today, but happy to answer any questions you may have about specific items.
Board members, any questions?
So we have the list to approve taking away item 11, is that correct? Is requested
I would like to pull 11 for separate discussion.
For a separate vote?
Yes,
Discussion.
so is a motion in order to approve the rest of them
Just to make sure you include the amendment that,
as amended?
right.
As amended, and that
Yeah.
would be the removal of 11 and the change to 10, in the
That's an
amount of 10.
amendment?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to move that the board approve as amended the consent agenda items 1 through 13, excluding 11, as presented.
With the change to 255,000 versus 281,000. Is that?
Yes, that's why I included as presented, because that's how Mr. Raley
right.
presented it today.
Great.
Do I
I'll
have a
second.
second?
You do.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Roll call vote? Or,
No, it's a voice vote.
okay, voice vote. All right, board members, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Waters?
I said aye.
Okay. All right, so the motion passes. All right, so now, we will take a vote on item number 11.
Yeah,
And I'll
typically,
pass it-
Mr. Chair, if you may, typically, once an item's removed from the consent agenda, then staff does a presentation for you on it, for you and the public, before you then are subject to discussion, as well as then a voice vote on it alone. And while I'm happy to speak to this item, I'd like to start, if you don't mind, in response to both Mr. Levitt and Mr. Dowdy's inquiry, and for the benefit of many others who are not aware, the role of the county attorney's office, and then I'll speak directly to the item. As was stated by our citizens, the role is to provide legal advice not only to this body, to the county administrator, and to all departments and employees of the county. And part of what isn't sort of understood by many people is the number of state and federal laws that govern the operations of a locality in Virginia. So, for instance, everything that purchasing does has to be pursuant to very detailed state laws. Human resources deal with a lot of federal laws in every employment situation, but localities, the Supreme Court has ruled that every employee has a property right in their job. And so there's another whole layer of process and laws that apply to those operations. The Freedom of Information Act, a creature of state law, which governs not only how we get together here and how we notice and invite the public to that, but also to numerous requests and growing in number requests for the documents that your government does business through. And we provide the legal advice to Ms. Biskayowitz and others in the county with respect to that. Land use, which is what so many of our public hearings are about, rezonings, CUPs, that is entirely state law process. And so every proffer in a case, the conditions that are imposed are subject to legal review for whether they're legal as well as whether they're enforceable. Can they later be, and have staff make sure that they're followed. But what might be interesting to folks in this room is after the rezoning, the work of the county attorney's office to support the process, the development process, Because after the rezoning, when they're going through development agreements for the roads, for the environmental, for the stormwater, those are done via agreement and supported by bonds and other sureties, all of which that get reviewed by our office. In fact, by state law, every contract entered into by this county has to be reviewed and approved as to form by the county attorney's office. Every single MOU, agreement, or contract, and that takes up a lot of time. Our office is heavily involved in writing and reviewing ordinances. Now, those are laws, so that doesn't surprise you. You think that lawyers write laws, and we do. We update the county code every year with respect to the General Assembly action, right? What's going on down there in Richmond now. We provide those updates to the board about how our ordinances have to follow, and we work with all departments to do that. We also, as we go through this lengthy agenda item, we are engaged sometimes in drafting, but in every case, reviewing your agenda items that require an action, a motion. We don't look at your resolutions and the reports, but every one of those, both for the legality, the procedure, and so forth. And so you can understand how many hours just went into the stuff we did to support today's agenda. So all of the county attorney staff have substantial workflow supporting county operations. And all of that takes a lot of time and effort from some very talented people that we're lucky to have. But it is also true that we're involved in litigation. And I'll start by saying we're involved in litigation a couple of different ways. I mentioned that we look for conditions and proffers to be enforceable when in fact we have land use situations where the individuals are not following county ordinance, county proffers, county conditions. The enforcement of that falls to the county attorney's office. And so we are in court on occasion, it's better when we're not, but to enforce building code violations, environmental violations, zoning violations, and fire code violations. And then finally we get to what's most related to the item before you today, defending the county in litigation. Our office does engage in defending the county in litigation, and we're involved in all of the defensive litigation against the county or its employees. But there's two things you need to know about that. One is the county has insurance. And like anybody else who's had the unfortunate situation of being in an automobile accident and being defended by your insurance company, since they're going to pay the claim, they provide your counsel. And so in situations when we have, in fact, employees who are involved in something like an automobile accident, our insurer provides counsel, and our office serves in a liaison role between that outside counsel and the employee, perhaps answering some general questions about what they can expect and what the process may be. We don't appear in court, but we also provide some oversight from the attorney to make sure he's moving it along. He's, providing information back to the clients. That type of, so there's the insurance coverage, and then our insurance coverage by its standard terms for localities in Virginia includes coverage for attorneys who defend land use litigation claims made against the county. We are taking advantage of that, as is noted in the agenda item, that we have that coverage. But we don't have the staffing in our office, given the way the numerous tasks we have to support the operations, to handle all elements of the defense of a litigation. It requires a huge number of hours in very tight timeframes that are not established by clients, but the courts. Our staff has been engaged in the litigation that is pending against the county today. We've pulled together a substantial legislative record in the Technology Overlay District. I will tell you that in the other land use case that we have defended, there are 12 boxes of paper down in the clerk's office for that legislative record. And this one is probably 3 times that size. And with the assistance of all the departments who are engaged in this, we have pulled that together, indexed it, named the records, found the records, and so forth. It's been a huge undertaking. And it's how we are supporting the defense of the litigation right this minute. Our office has meetings on the facts, which we're intimately familiar with because we're here as those facts are going through and being developed, and the strategy. for litigation with outside counsel, not just because litigation's best done in a strategic manner, but also to make sure that the way Goochland would want it done, that the vision of Goochland as a client is heard. And then we provide that same oversight and liaison role between the county employees who are engaged in have facts about the litigation and the outside counsel. We provide updates to the board or the county administrator. And so the use of outside counsel for litigation in the defense of the county is a long-standing policy. My predecessors did it. There was outstanding litigation that was pending when I started that was being handled by outside counsel, and I assumed that liaison role. And as I've gone back in the files of the previous county attorneys, they reflect that long-term policy of outside counsel to handle litigation. So consistent with how defensive litigation is handled in localities of our size, that's exactly consistent. Unless you are self-insured, in places like Chesterfield and Henrico are self-insured, and they have 8 to 12 or 15 attorneys in which they handle every piece of litigation, as well as the operational stuff, or even the larger localities like Virginia Beach and Fairfax and Prince William, who have 20 to 50 attorneys. This is how things are handled. So the request before you today is an appropriate request to fund an unforeseen expense, which is why we've asked for it to come from the unassigned funds. We certainly don't want to have this kind of money in our budget every year because we don't need it. We don't spend it every year basis. But for this unforeseen expense, in order to handle assist in the handling of the litigation against the county, there is a budget transfer request before you for consideration. Can I answer any questions?
Well, thank you for taking the time
Yeah.
to do that. And if I may, my take on this, I hate the fact that we're spending the taxpayers' money on this, but we've been compelled to do it. We've been forced into this as a result of the litigation that was brought upon us. To expect you all to drop everything that you're doing for the county, which you just itemized, just a portion of it, and it's much, much more, and to totally focus on this without any reinforcements, I think is unreasonable. And I also, and I apologize for this analogy, but I view you all as, like I view my family practitioner. I go to you for help and keep me out of trouble and keep me healthy and so forth, and keep the county healthy. But if I need a specialist, if I've got something severely wrong, then I need an expert. And I think that was true in this case. And I think it's very much justified. I was strong, as you know, in support of defending ourselves. We cannot diminish the authority of the Board of Supervisors and, submit to in our case, we made the right decision. I've never been convinced any more than I am today that we made the right decision in this case. We'll see how it turns out, but, I can be proven wrong, but that's how I feel. So I commend you and support you.
Thank you, Mr. Winfrey.
Any other discussion? Mr. Law?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I asked that we pull this for this very reason. I think that was an extremely eloquent and detailed presentation, and it does have a lot supporting it, and I will be voting to approve this allocation. I want to also observe that we are going to first use the insurance money.
Yes, sir.
And so this is, if we need more than the insurance money, that money is then available. It's not that we're going to spend all of it. Hopefully, we'll spend none of it. But I am thankfully not experienced in courtroom expenses and activities, so I don't know where this is going. But the board did take action. We have an approved action by the board. It's being challenged, and this is how the system works. And so I'm appreciative that we have a system, and part of a system is that as a litigant, we need to mount a robust detailing of our side of the story, and that's what these funds will allow us to do. I think it would be a disservice to the county, just as an organization, if we did not step up and say, this is how we see it, this is how it was approved, and the judge or however the legal system operates. I assume it will be a bench trial, a judge, not jury. I don't know.
It's a little early for that determination.
All right, so a decision will be rendered, and I would certainly want a full recounting of the county's position given. I'm not going to rehash the process that brought us to here today, but we do have, this is not the only court case. There was a case filed regarding a connector road decision with the Mosaic.
Yes, it's a pending litigation.
And
Yes,
I
sir.
believe we utilized outside counsel
Yes,
for
sir,
that.
we are.
So there is I don't want to say precedent, but there is a pattern that when we need the specialists, as Mr. Winfrey referenced, we're going to bring them to bear. So we have 28,000 residents of the county, and I would expect those folks would want us to defend the good name or the name of the county in legal proceedings. So I hope we don't spend the money, but I also believe that it should be available should that case need, or those funds need to be accessed. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Waters, do you have any discussion points?
I would just thank Ms. McGee for all her comments. I think it's good education for everybody to understand how our processes work. I'd also say this is something we discuss on a regular basis, and it's prudent for the county not to have the expertise on staff when we know we might only be using them in certain situations. You know, you don't want to hire a full-time attorney if you're not going to be utilizing them on a regular basis. So we use outside counsel on a regular basis in order to be the best stewards of taxpayer money that we can be. It's something that we discussed thoroughly going through the budget process, and it's something we've discussed strategically as we think about the makeup of our county attorney's office. So this is, when we say this is something that is in line with what we expect and how we deal with numerous situations in our county, we are telling the truth, but I'm glad that Ms. McGee was able to give her take on it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. All I'll really say on it is reverse the roles. What would you do? You know, we're doing what we think is logically best. So with that, do I have a motion?
I just have
Oh, go ahead.
I've got a question, because I know how my case is. I mean, in my case, I've not heard from any citizen outside of those who involved in bringing this litigation to us. I'm just wondering if any of our board members have heard from any other citizens. You know, you referenced the other 28,000 or so citizens in the county that have expressed any concern or any opposition to us defending ourselves. I've not.
I've received a few emails recently on this particular line item, but that's about it.
Okay.
Not too voluminous, but
I've received comments from District 4 and District 5 residents, you know, a number of emails, number of calls, but, you know, I would say very much in line with the citizen comments from the TOD meeting and the process.
Mr. Winfrey, my comments were, why is this being done? And that's why I asked that we pull it and receive the explanation that we've received. I again, very much appreciate that there was amplification and detail as to why this action is being taken. It's not unique. It's not the first time.
Right.
It's business as usual, if you
Board
will,
members,
that when we're sued, we're going to defend ourselves.
keep in mind, we've got to go into a closed session. So we are
I'm finished.
on the clock.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So with that, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve, I'm going to refer to it as item 11 on the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, and that's a voice vote, correct? All right, all members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yay.
All right, so the motion passes. All right, so now, where's the motion for the closed session? All right, so in accordance with the provisions of Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1, I move that the County Board of Supervisors convene in a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the performance and duties of the county administrator.
Second.
All right, I've got a second. Roll call vote.
Mr. Lyle?
Yay?
Mr. Waters?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes?
And Mr. Christie?
Yes. All right. Tap the gavel, right? All right, closed session.
I just want,
All right, so, this is to certify, the ending of the closed session? Or the closed meeting? Okay. So pursuant to code, or Virginia Code 2.2-3712D, I move that the board members hereby certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements under the Freedom of Information Act, and only the public business matters identified in the motion convening in the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so roll call vote.
Mr. Lyle?
Yay?
Mr. Waters?
yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
And Mr. Christie?
Yes. All right, so we will close the afternoon meeting. reconvened, calling the meeting back to order, and we'll go ahead and open it up for citizen comment. Dr. Rayleigh, you want to read the parameters?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Christie, and welcome everybody. We're really glad that you're here. So we have a lot of things on our agenda this evening. The first being public comment. This is public comment for the items that are not later on in the agenda. So we do have 4 public hearings. So you're welcome to provide comment tonight on anything that you want to share other than the 4 items that are later on the agenda. You'll have 3 minutes to speak if you choose to do so. You can have someone cede their time to you if you want to speak upwards of 10 minutes. We have lights in front of us. We'll start green, move to yellow, and end at red when you're 3 minutes up. When you come up, just announce your name and your address and make your comments directly to the board tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and fellow board members. My name is Wanda Taylor, and I reside at 830 Duck Pond Road, Mannequin Sabbath, Virginia. I am in District 4. I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I have been a part of the electoral board since 2008, and I have served Goochland County in the election arena for 32 years. I know I don't look like it, but I have. It's truly been an honor to serve this community and to help uphold the integrity of our election. I want to take a moment and introduce to the board our newly elected board member to the electoral board, Miss Valerie Morris.
Hello.
We are pleased to have her come and join us on the board, and we are already working to serve the citizens here in Goochland County. I also would like to sincerely thank the board for your continued support, for the maintenance assistance that you give us on election day of picking up the equipment, delivering it and setting it up, and going back and picking it up. I also want to thank you for your financial support through the county fiscal budget. Your partnership plays a vital role in ensuring that our elections run smoothly and efficiently. Looking ahead, we anticipate anywhere from 3 to 4 elections, depending on the timing of the redistricting. It may move the primary from June to August, but we don't know as of yet. But our team remains committed to being prepared regardless of how the election calendar is finalized. This past election cycle saw a strong voter percentage turnout across the Commonwealth. Goochland County's turnout was 71%. We run 54% in just about all elections over that, which reflects continued engagement and commitment to our citizens here in this county. So in closing, I want to thank you once again for your continued support, for your collaboration. We appreciate your confidence in the electoral board, the office of the Director of Elections, General Registrar, and his staff. And we want to make sure that we continue to remain dedicated to conducting a fair, secure, and accessible election for the people of Goochland County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Seeing none, I'll close citizen comment. Now we'll move on to public hearings. Ms. Jamie Sherry will present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, I'm Jamie Sherry, Director of Planning and Zoning. Before you tonight is conditional use permit CU 25-00009, submitted by Joseph Lilly for a detached accessory family housing unit. The property is located in District 1 on Living Springs Lane. The vicinity map on the left shows the location of the subject property in the western portion of the county within the red circle. The aerial photo on the right outlines the property in red. The property is located at the end of Loving Springs Lane, which is a short gravel private road connecting to Haydensville Fife Road. The zoning map on the left shows the property zoned agricultural general, or A1, as are the surrounding properties. The 2035 comprehensive map on the right designates the subject property as well as the surrounding properties as rural enhancement area. There's currently a single-family home on the property, accessed by a gravel driveway at the end of Loving Springs Lane. The proposal is to construct a detached one-story dwelling for family on the property. Both homes would share the existing gravel driveway, and the proposed dwelling would be served by a new well and septic system. So the conceptual plan shows the location of the existing dwelling, and that would be right here in the blue. It also shows the desired placement of the accessory dwelling unit in red, and that would be right here. So it would be a driveway that splits off. That's the existing driveway, and this was a proposed driveway. The conceptual plan has not been imposed as a condition of this application in order to provide the applicant with flexibility regarding the final location of the structure on the property. Final placement and construction details will be reviewed through the building permit process to ensure compliance with zoning and building code requirements. This provides options during the permitting process while still requiring compliance with setbacks, health department requirements, and emergency access standards. A community meeting was held on June 30, 2025. One citizen attended, as well as Planning Commissioner Kimberly and the property owner. The citizen in attendance was supportive of the application. During the meeting, the property owner clarified that short-term rental of the accessory dwelling was not proposed, and staff noted that short-term rental would require a separate application as well as a public process. An accessory family dwelling unit, the use is consistent with the comprehensive plan designation of rural enhancement area. At the December 19 meeting, the Planning Commission held a public hearing on this application. The Commission unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote, and nobody spoke at the public hearing. The recommended conditions for this application are consistent with the standard conditions for a detached accessory family housing unit. The first 4 proposed conditions on the screen address the use, occupancy, and accessory unit. The unit is limited to family members who are residents of the people who live in the principal dwelling. It may not be rented separately and must include the required carbon monoxide smoke detectors that are consistent with the statewide building code. Condition 5 requires emergency vehicle access be provided and maintained. Condition 6 states that a conditional use permit will expire in 10 years on the last day of February 2036 unless it is renewed. And finally, prior to transfer or lease of the property, the owner must notify both the county and the new owner or leasee of the existence of the conditions of the CUP. This concludes my presentation. I'm available to respond to your questions, and the applicant is also in attendance.
Yeah, I have a question about the well and septic. Is the well and septic going to be just bigger for both?
No, they will.
Or is it
They're going to be having their own. They've already gone through the process of seeing if the property could perk. It will be a brand new well and septic that serves that property.
All right, thank you.
I'm just curious. I've noticed one of the conditions is a smoke detector.
Mhm.
Isn't that a requirement of the building code?
It is, and
So
it
why
seems
would
a little
that-
redundant, but I guess it gives us an opportunity to, you know, if we were to do any inspections, that it would ensure that it was there.
You said in your presentation that it would expire in 2036. On the screen it said 2035.
It did? I apologize about that. We'll make sure that it is correct. Oh, it does say 2035. It is 2036.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. And I believe it's reflected in the resolution. Is that right, Ms. McGee? Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions? Council discussion? Oh, Mr. Waters, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
All right. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter?
Just say hi.
All right. Hello.
Happy to take any questions if you have any.
Sir, if you could just come up to the mic and give your name and address, this just shows the record that you were here while we were doing this.
Paul Malcolm, 5259, or the landowner, are, I guess, supporting Joe's applicant for sure. There are in-laws, basically it's their forever home coming to co-locate on our property with us. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead and open public hearing on this issue. All right. Seeing nobody wants to speak, go ahead and close public hearing. All right. Board members, I move the board grant conditional use permit CU 2025 09 applicant by Joseph Lilly, subject to the imposed conditions as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote.
Discussion.
Oh, sorry. Discussion?
Ms. Sherry, I just had a quick question. I'm shocked that I have to ask this.
Sure.
But, I noticed the CUP is 10 years. Is that typical for our standard?
Yes, that
for
is our
accessory
standard.
dwellings?
It is. Thank you.
Any other discussion, board members? Sorry, I did. Mr. Waters, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
All right, so I made the motion. I have a second. Go ahead and roll call vote.
Mr. Lyle?
Yay.
Mr. Spoonhour?
Yes.
Mr. Waters?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
And Mr. Christie?
Yes. Congratulations. All right, so next we have District 3 CU 2025 10, presented by Jamie Sherry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. Excuse me again. The next item before you tonight is conditional use permit CU 2025-00010. The application is by Ricky and Terry Bryan in District 3, requesting a detached accessory family housing unit on 3.7 on a 3.7 acre parcel on Hawktown Road. The vicinity map on the left shows the location of the subject property in the center of the county, highlighted within the red circle. The aerial photo on the right shows outlines of the property in red and shows the surrounding area as rural in nature with a mixture of large lot residential properties and farmland. The zoning map on the left shows the property as zoned agricultural limited, or A2, as are the surrounding properties. The 2035 comprehensive plan map on the right designates the subject property as rural enhancement area, as are the surrounding properties. The subject property is part of a recently approved minor subdivision and shares an access easement with the property to the rear. The applicant is currently constructing a house on the property, which will serve as the primary structure. The applicant is requesting approval of a detached accessory family housing unit, which will be constructed only after the approval of this conditional use permit and built in compliance with the proposed conditions. This slide shows where the location of the primary structure is, which is right here, right center on the property, and where the applicant wants to build their accessory dwelling unit, which is back here. Right in that area is a small square. There's a lot going on the screen, but I just wanted to point that out to you. The final placement and construction details will be reviewed through the building permit process to ensure compliance with the building and zoning code requirements. As with the previous case, the conceptual plan has not been imposed as a condition of this application in order to provide the applicant with flexibility regarding the final location of the structure on the property. The accessory structure will still be required to meet all of the applicable requirements of a primary structure during the building permit review, including zoning setbacks, health department regulations, as well as emergency access. A community meeting was held on October 22nd, 2025. 4 citizens were in attendance. Discussion topics included the location of the Dominion Power easement on the property, proposed vegetative buffers, groundwater, the use of well and septic, and attendees expressed their support and no concerns were raised. Excuse me. An accessory single-family dwelling use is consistent with the comprehensive plan designation of rural enhancement area. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this application on December 18th, 2025, and unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote, and nobody spoke at the public hearing. Excuse me, I'm behind. As with the previous application, these are all consistent with the standard conditions for a detached accessory family housing unit. The first 4, as I previously mentioned, limit the use to family members of the principal dwelling, related to the members of the principal dwelling. They may not be rented separately. Must include a carbon monoxide and smoke detector, which is consistent with the building code requirements. Condition 5 requires that emergency vehicle access be provided and maintained. Condition 6 states that a conditional use permit will expire in February of 2036 unless it is renewed. And finally, the transfer of lease, which is a standard condition that I previously mentioned. And again, that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and Mr. Bryan is here as well.
Board members, any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Jamie, on here it says this is, I have to find it now, Annie's, it's in a subdivision, it says.
Yes, sir.
And this is Lot 3. And on one of the schematics, I think it's actually the aerial photo.
Yep.
It shows housing in the back but that road is not going to be used. It's going to be abandoned and the new driveway's put in. I mean,
So the subject property is located here in red. As I mentioned, that there is a house under construction, which is that middle clearing.
yeah.
What appears to be a driveway is actually a Dominion Power easement. And what you'll see on the aerial, and you can kind of see it on the house to the west, there is an access easement that, there's actually 4 lots, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an access easement that goes to this back property. You can kind of see it, I mean, this one also has the same exact easement going to this property as well. So it's not constructed, I misspoke. It's constructed on lot 1, but not on lot 2. But there will be. So this back property, which is cleared, there is no house on there currently, but there is an access easement. What appears to be an access easement is actually not for access. It's the cleared Dominion Power easement. And you can see it on the plat as well. There's a lot going on the plat, but I know it well. So
So that's not a That's not a road, that's an
No,
easement.
sir, that is an easement. The proposed driveway that the Bryans are proposing is a driveway that runs along here, accesses the existing house there, and would access the accessory house right there. You can see the dotted line, that shows where that 50-foot easement that would access this back property.
I'm inclined to support this, I just am curious, I've never seen an easement as.
It's interesting, I've
curvy.
never either.
Yeah.
None of us did
I
either.
thought it was a driveway.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
we did as well, because it looks like it is accessing the back property, but it in fact is not.
Okey-doke. Thank you.
Of course.
Yes, can you tell me a little bit about this subdivision? Is it a newer subdivision, an older subdivision? Is there an HOA?
I don't believe there is an HOA. In my presentation, I mentioned that, that the house is currently under construction. The previous aerial that's actually in the packet, there's no house on the western property as well. So I do believe it is. Do we have an answer to that, sir? I mean, it is a relatively new minor subdivision. Yeah, this house is under construction. I'm trying to remember when that other house may have, the building permit may have been applied for like in the last year or so, so probably.
In the health department's notes, it says that it needs its own water, it needs its own septic, and we called that out in the last presentation, but we didn't call it out in this one.
That is correct, and it was just one of the circumstances. I guess I have the answer for you. That is in fact true, but I guess I didn't want to be too redundant, kind of keep you on your toes a little bit. Also, this is a response of me incorporating two different applicants. I mean, my staff also wrote them separately.
I guess my point is, I don't see anything that references the need for the septic system other than the health department's comments.
Oh, no, I did not include it in that. It wasn't intentional, but it is in fact, they will be having their new, based on what it says in the application. Am I understanding your
So
concern?
is there a requirement for a separate well and septic for this property?
For this property, yes.
Okay, and we have what we need to ensure that, how do we ensure that happens if it's not in anything that we're
Well,
working on tonight?
so, Ben, do you know if they've actually gone through and had their property perked and?
It's required by the health department.
Yeah,
So
so-
it's regulations that we don't need to enforce that will make it occur.
Great, okay.
Thank you, Ms. McGee, yeah. Of course.
All right. Anybody else? Mr. Waters, do you have any questions?
No, all good, thank you.
All right, does the applicant wish to speak?
I'm Ricky Bryan. I'm at 6412 Rolling Road West in Columbia, Virginia right now. But no, I have nothing further to add. I want to thank you for your consideration on this. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Board members, any questions? Mr. Waters, any questions for the applicant?
No.
Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Chairman, oh,
All right, so now I'll open up the public hearing for this case. All right, seeing no one wishing to speak, I'll close the public hearing. Now, I will entertain a motion.
okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that the board grant conditional use permit CU 2025-10, application by Ricky and Terry Bryan, subject to the imposed conditions as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion among the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
So I'm a big fan of the, as everybody should know, of the family accessory dwellings. This one strikes me as a little weird though, because it's in a subdivision. And I don't think I've ever approved one in an actual subdivision before. And my typical rationale is that there's usually a board that is, it's more of a self-governing. So I couldn't imagine, it'd be challenging for me to get one in my subdivision. So I just want to make sure that we're thinking about this. Again, in general, I'm in favor of it, but some more history on this, you know, have folks, do they know there's going to be multiple houses in what we had just potentially planned with a new subdivision? So just want to throw that out there for consideration.
Any other discussion? Mr. Waters, do you have any?
No more discussion for me.
Oh, thank you. All right, so I've got a motion and a second. Roll call vote?
Start with Mr. Lyle.
Yay.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Yes.
Mr. Waters.
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey.
Yes.
Mr. Christie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright. So our next public hearing is public hearing to consider a resolution amending fiscal year 2026 Goochland budget by transferring and appropriating nearly $3 million for a fire apparatus purchase consisting of 3 fire engines and 1 stock tanker. Dr. Raley.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Christie. And so this is a conversation that we had publicly. It's your CIP work session on December the 19th of 2025. And so we discussed in that setting the increasing cost of apparatus with inflation and different requirements imposed upon us by the EPA. And so your action this evening is at a public hearing simply because of the amount of the requested transfer in relation to your overall budget, which is greater than 1%. And so for the benefit of the public, is pending the board's action this evening, this would allow us to move forward with purchasing 3 fire engines. One is currently planned for in the current 2026 CIP, purchasing ahead for one that was planned in 2027 CIP, and one to replace a engine that was totaled on Route 288 in the last couple months. And so this would be for purchasing 3 fire engines as well as 1 tanker. It would allow us to purchase a stock tanker, which is less expensive than one that would have to be built. And so ultimately, by doing this evening and allowing us to buy ahead, it saves us nearly $800,000 in the cost when it comes to inflation and future impact. So seeking your consideration of this evening, and pending your approval, we will provide purchase orders and move forward with this purchase and get in the line to make this happen. Happy to answer any questions. Both Chief Ferguson and Chief Gordon are here as well.
All right. Board members, any questions? Mr. Waters?
No questions.
You're just checking with them before you open the public hearing. I'm jumping ahead, sorry.
All right, so go ahead and open public hearing. Anybody who wants to speak? All right, seeing none, I'll close public hearing. Board members, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move the board approve budget amendment that will transfer the and appropriate $2,903,389 for a fire apparatus purchase consisting of 3 fire engines and 1 stock tanker.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, discussion. I just want to add, drive safe, pay attention, give our EMS workers some room for their safety, but also for your tax dollars. That's part of why we've got to get one of these trucks. That's all I've got.
And stay sober, too.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lyle.
Amen.
All right, so. we've got a
Mr.
motion.
Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add, I can't stress enough how important it is that, you know, we have worked cooperatively with the fire and rescue department, and I just really appreciate the work that Chief Ferguson and his staff have done to go to stock tanks, you know, keep us in mind, keep us mindful of lead times, and really play an active role as we formulate our CIP budget, knowing how much these new apparatus cost.
Well said.
And let me also say, in this particular, you brought up the fact that the big fire engine was destroyed as a result of an intoxicated driver driving into that fire truck on the James River Bridge on 288. And the fact of it is, that's why that truck was there, to prevent, and it actually prevented, I think, some horrible results of perhaps killing some of our fire people who were there serving an accident. So the truck did its job. It was destroyed in the process, but that's why it was there, and good work.
All right. Roll call vote.
Mr. Lyle?
Yay.
Mr. Spoonhour?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughters?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Christie?
Yes. All right. And our last public hearing is a public hearing to consider a resolution amending fiscal year 2026 Goochland County budget by transferring and appropriating roughly 3.3 million capital improvement program fund for the Fairground Road and Maidens Road roundabout project, and it'll be presented by Austin Golding.
All right. All right, good evening. For the record, Austin Goin, County Engineer. I do have one project funding request. As Chair Christie noted, it's $3.29 million for a single-lane roundabout at the intersection of Fairground Road and Maidens Road. The cost estimate is just shy of $8.5 million. That was worked through when we went through Smart Scale Round 6, which was 2024. Through that process, we were successful in obtaining a little over $5 million for this particular project. An approximate schedule on the screen in front of you is right-of-way acquisition we expect to take place end of 2028, soliciting bids approximately 12 months later, and then anticipated project completion at this time is nearing the end of 2030. Oh, that did not do its job. What's supposed to be on the screen in front of you is just a breakdown of the smart scale funds that have been awarded to the project. Again, reiterating that the funding request in front of you is $3.29 million. And a breakdown of those funds is about $350,000 to come from old road proffers, which is a bucket that covers the entire county. They do expire, so we typically, as requests come up, try to use those old road proffers when we see fit when a project comes up. About $150,000 in central road proffers, which have to be used in a central region of the county as defined in that documentation, and this does fit that criteria. And then a little under $2.8 million out of CBTA local funds, or the Central Virginia Transportation Authority local pot that we get back. And again, that totals $3.29 million. Just a recap of that local fund account, we do have currently on hand about $10.8 million. After this request and a few other pending requests, we would still be looking at approximately $7.4 million. And then one interesting proffer out of a subdivision that's under construction now, Fairground Road Residential, 2022 zoning case, proffer number 18. In relation to that case, the developer did agree to pay $40,000 for improvements to Fairgrounds Road. Once paid, we would expect to use that $40,000 to just offset some of the CBTA local funds in this case, and we would bring that forward to the board if needed for a swap of the funds. And I did want to point out that other funding was considered for this particular project. We did chase CBTA regional funds. It was a part of the CBTA Round 3 in 2023-2024. It was originally recommended to be fully funded to a cost estimate of just under $8 million, but it was ultimately determined to be non-regional, and those funds were ultimately not awarded to the project. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Board members, any questions, comments?
Just on the one graphic, it said potential SWM facility. Can you tell me what that acronym?
Yes. I'll stay right there. So the potential SWM facility is a BMP to mitigate the stormwater impacts of this additional pavement.
Stormwater management.
It's currently proposed to go in that corner, but again, that's a significant right-of-way take. That design has not been done. Right-of-way negotiations have not gone through at this time. So that's potentially a moving target, but that's the low side.
Anyone else? Mr. Winfrey?
With Mr. Spoonhour's help, This is a perfect example of the value that the Central Virginia Transportation Authority brings to us. The leveraging aspect of this, if you can see, with the various amounts of money here, with 2.7 million coming from the CVTA, without that seed money, I don't think we would have been able to attract the rest of it. Y'all can opine on that. And Mr. Spoonhour was involved in this very early on. Now, this is coming out of our local funds, correct, which is part of the sales tax that's given back to us, if I'm correct on that.
Correct.
But the CVTA is something that's really working, and I commend your involvement with them too, Austin. So, thank you.
I think the important thing of this, and thank you, Mr. Winfrey, it's absolutely, I just show up to the meetings, all the work gets done by folks a lot more talented than me. But I think part of what we need to realize as a board, not that I think any of us are against this, but that part of that application was that we would come up with the funds to match this, so that, because typically smart scale funds are only awarded if it pays for the whole project, because they don't want money sitting.
Correct.
They don't want money
Correct.
sitting there.
Correct.
And the project's not going forward, it's not being taken. So this was something that we had agreed to ahead of time. We thought we had a path forward with the wild card, is that
Yes.
what we're calling it?
Yes, that's the application I referenced.
Right, which we thought was going to do pretty well, but
It scored very well because roundabouts are the flavor of the month. They're very safe. They score very well based on current metrics.
But the thing, Mr. Goying, is that the whole reason for the wild card was that it was going to be something that wouldn't qualify for regional.
Correct.
Because we are running out of regional roads.
Correct.
That need repaired, because the region has been very generous to us.
They have, fortunately, I will say, staff anticipated its ultimate denial at CVTA, so we're frankly on Plan B, but rather a successful Plan B for this particular project.
But yeah, I just again want to call out that we said we would pony up our fair share. We're doing pretty well still, so thank you.
So if I understand, this whole thing is sort of coming to a head tonight.
Correct.
With our authorization of this, it's moving it forward.
Correct.
And I think in our messaging to our citizens, I think there's a lot of interest. I hear, when is that roundabout going to be built? When's that roundabout going to be built? So this will be good news to a lot of our citizens, although it seems like a long way out, but that's
It
the
is, but
nature of
in
these
the
things.
Transportation world, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. I know. It's not a quick process,
Right.
but I know a lot of people will be glad to hear that it's definitely set in concrete now and so forth.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Waters, did you have anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All I've got to say on it is I think it would add some relief factor to our fire rescue, even a little bit. But, all right. So I guess we'll go to public hearing. So open it up to public hearing. It's about roundabouts. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Surprisingly, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. All right. Board members, do I have a motion?
So moved. Let's see, I move the board approve a budget amendment that will transfer an appropriate $3.29 million to the Capital Improvement Program Fund for the Fairground Road Maidens Roundabout Project.
Second?
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll roll call vote.
Mr. Lyle?
Yay.
Mr. Spoonhour?
Yes.
Mr. Waters?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Christie?
Yes. All right. So with that, we will adjourn the meeting to Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m. for the Board of Supervisors and Economic Development Authority joint work session. here in room 270.